Hello friends, let's proceed with our studies. We studied about respiration in plants in last video, and now it's a time to study respiration in animals. So when you talk about respiration in animals, it is comparatively complicated and it involves specialized organs. So those organs may vary organism to organism. Like we can have a list here. For example, organ could be a simple body surface. Like when you talk about hydra, when you talk about earthworm, or when you talk about invertebrates especially. They don't have any special organ for breathing, or they don't have any special organ for respiration. So we can call it as a simply body surface. For example, your amoeba or paramecium, or it could be hydra. They don't have any particular organ for respiration, so they respire through body surface. Little more advanced when you talk about there may be skin as the organ of respiration. We can call that respiration as a cutaneous respiration. For example, the moment we say skin as a respiratory organ, what strikes in our mind is earthworm. So respiration in earthworm is with the help of skin. Even we know about frogs. So when frog enters water, it respires with the help of skin. So frogs, when in water, respires through skin. When it comes on land, it respires through lungs. Now, gills is the respiratory organ we all know about in fishes. Not only fishes, even it is the respiratory organ in tadpole of the frog. Tadpole is that young one of the frog. So it respires with the help of gills. And the most advanced organ of the respiration when it comes, but obviously it is nothing but lungs. And the respiration using these lungs is referred as pulmonary respiration. And this kind of respiration is found in vertebrates especially. Higher organisms also, they show this kind of respiration. Like we can say the best example is human being. And not only human being, there are so many such other examples. Now whatever the type of respiration is, or whatever organ of respiration is, this organ of respiration should fulfill some conditions. So we can call it as a respiratory surface. So this respiratory organ has got a surface. That surface will be called as a respiratory surface. And it should fulfill some conditions. It should have some characteristic features. Like what? Like the first characteristic feature we have here, that this respiratory surface should be large. So larger the respiratory surface, better the respiration, more the exchange of gases, more the diffusion of gases. Like when it comes to plants, when it comes to trees, they have got a greater respiratory surface, so they show greater rate of respiration. But when you talk about animals, it is comparatively smaller in size. Second characteristic feature of this respiratory surface is that it should be thin and moist. Now, why moist? Because those gases can dissolve. Like you have heard about this skin, cutaneous respiration. So the oxygen will dissolve, carbon dioxide will dissolve, and then it will get diffused. So that it should be thin and moist. Thin, like we know in our case, we have alveoli, which are very thin. The thickness of our alveoli is 0.0001 millimeter. So such thin are alveoli are or our respiratory surface is. Then third condition for that respiratory surface is it should be permeable to gases. Now, but obviously gases means carbon dioxide and oxygen. It should easily diffuse, it should easily pass through the same respiratory surface. Then comes fourth characteristic feature of this respiratory surface is that it should be richly supplied with blood capillaries. So that's the reason when you look at our capillaries, they are richly supplied by blood capillaries. Alveoli are richly supplied by blood capillaries so that exchange of gases will occur easily. And the last characteristic feature for the respiratory surface is that there should be provision, arrangement, so that oxygen will reach to the respiratory organ and carbon dioxide will be sent away from that respiratory organ. So these are the 5 characteristic features of any respiratory surface. Out of all these we have discussed just. Now, this is one of the questions I have sent you, assignment, and the question is what are the characteristic features of any respiratory surface? So answer is here. Okay, now one more question you will come across while solving your assignment or other questions, and that question is about respiration in water and respiration in atmosphere, or why is the rate of respiration is slow in fishes compared to terrestrial animals. Now when you say air or atmosphere, it has got 21% of oxygen, which is sufficient or enough or more, whereas when you talk about water, it has only 1% of the dissolved oxygen. So first difference is that percentage of oxygen is very less in water and percentage of oxygen in air or atmosphere is very high. So as availability of oxygen is more in the atmosphere, rate of diffusion will be faster, whereas the availability of oxygen in the water is only 1%, so rate of diffusion will be slower and there will be less efforts taken by organisms living on land or a terrestrial compared to the aquatic animals or the fishes. They will have to put more efforts to use more and more oxygen, and therefore rate of respiration is faster in aquatic animals than terrestrial animals. Remember, this is going to be one of the questions. Now, here you can also add some more examples of respiratory organs, like if you remember insects like cockroach and all, they have a specialized respiratory organ, and that you can call it as spiracles. Remember, this is another example. Spiracles are the small openings which are present below the wings of the cockroach and some other insects, through which exchange of gases occurs. So I hope you all have understood about this concept. What is respiratory surface? What are the organs of respiration?